Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today or this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are, we're going to be talking about what's going on in New York City. If you don't know already or you haven't seen it, I want to share it with you. So hang tight. I'm going to share my screen again. Like I did this morning, it seemed to work out really well. All right, this is have you seen this guy yet? Well, we're going to go to the post.
Hey folks, your old pal Chicago Ray. I've been on the radio talking to drivers for about the last hour 15 minutes, and I'm talking to at least 10 drivers going the other way. I'm heading down from South Wisconsin, and they're going to start refusing loads in New York City starting on Monday. All right. I got about 3 drivers that I drive with. They already vibrated the boss and told them they ain't going to New York City. So I don't know how far across the country this is, or how many truckers are going to start denying loads to going to New York City. But I'll tell you what, you fuck around and find out. Okay? We're tired of you motherfucking leftists fucking with Trump.
Sorry
Okay?
for language.
You know, motherfuckers are starting to get tired of this shit. And you know, our bosses ain't gonna care if we deny the loads. We'll just go somewhere else. All right? You know how fucking hard it is to get into New York City with one of these motherfuckers?
Okay.
Man, fuck that. All right? I'll tell you, I don't wish nothing on nobody, but by what I'm hearing, this is real. You know, we'll see. But
Okay, guys, this video went viral. Okay. Now, to put it in perspective, and we're going to talk about the letter to the Dear Truckers, the thumbnail, because there's a few things that I want to talk about that should be talked about. It's easy to get on the bandwagon. If you're a red blooded American and you love freedom, yeah, cut New York off, cut them off. Well, there's good people that live in New York, okay? And some of those people absolutely need things. And I know 100% truck drivers are good people. They have to deal with, can you imagine? I am not cut out to be a truck driver. Okay. I thank God for them, because there's people out there that when they're in a truck, they're happy. When they're driving in a truck, they're happy, and I'm happy for them, and they do a great job. To be honest with you, I have way more trouble with four wheelers, which is what truck drivers call cars, than I do truck drivers. They usually stay in their lane and do their thing. And one of them probably saved my life one time. Now, maybe I'll tell that story at the end. But I want to show you how it's progressing in such a short time. That video went viral. It is going nuts. And other people are jumping on board fast. And I hate to even talk about what happened in Canada, but we need to, just a little bit. And let's keep going on Twitter, because it's the news mecca. I'm going to go down here and show you how it's progressing. And if you're interested in this, check out
And,
Financial
you know,
Prep on
I don't want
Twitter.
to hurt the people of New York. That's not what I'm trying to do. But my part in it, if New York just loses 10%, just 10% of the trucks that go in there, their prices are going to skyrocket on everything from milk to eggs to any type of goods that the consumer needs. And when that happens, it's going to cost everybody more money.
Yeah, but not every truck driver is getting behind Chicago.
Okay. Sure they're not. All right. So what I'd like to say before we go any further is there's a few things to consider when you're cutting off New York City. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for it if we do it in the right way. I'm one of you. I'm not. I'm blue collar as it gets, okay? Just realize that people absolutely need medication. They need, I made a small list. Medication, don't cut them off from that. Any kind of medical, hospital supplies, machines that, and sometimes we have trouble deciphering that because sometimes we deliver chemicals and things that make medicines. So you know what you're doing, you know what you deliver. Just keep that in mind as we do the right thing. And in my opinion, this is the right thing. They're standing up. This is what we're going to have to do to make a difference. And it's really cool that truck drivers are standing up. Literally the lifeblood of the economy, the people that deliver the goods and services. We just have to be careful not to cut off the wrong goods, if you follow me. So I'm reasonably certain everybody in the comments is for what's going on, but just make sure we don't cut off the things that people have to live and survive. Okay. Now I want to keep going because this is picking up steam. There was another truck driver, Jake. He had something to say about it as well. And he talked about one time that it had happened. Instead of me rehashing what he said, I'm just going to share it with you. This guy right here, a fit guy.
Good morning, Patriots. This is Trucker Jake. There's talk of a trucker boycott of the city of New York to protest the persecution of President Trump. Now, liberals seem to think that this is a pretty funny idea. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple years ago, a Colorado trucker was involved in a terrible accident, loss of life. It was tragic. The Colorado judge sentenced that trucker to 110 years in prison. Now, you decide for yourself whether or not he deserved that prison sentence, but when truck drivers from around America heard about that sentence, they organized a boycott against the state of Colorado. And within a month, they brought the state of Colorado to its knees. That judge resentenced that trucker from 110 years to 10 years in prison. The point is, MAGA patriots make this country run. Liberals, they make our coffee. This is Trucker Jake. God bless President Trump. God bless MAGA America. God bless our truckers. Y'all have a blessed day.
The liberals make our coffee. That's pretty good. Okay. I would run that guy, but he's got a lot of foul language. There's one more I wanted you to see that shows it's actually working. It's the latest video, and it's being the latest video, it'll be at the top. Right here. Nope. Right here. This is this morning.
York. You will see all the emptiness tonight in the truck stop. Trucker strike tomorrow in New York. Good luck. You go, Cannon, New York.
So it looks like this is really starting to get a grip, and it's going to be great. Now, there's a few things I want to mention, and I hate to even mention it, but it needs to be mentioned because the powers that be, the globalists that operate this country, they are not going to appreciate this. They want power and they want all of it. And when somebody does something that they don't have power over, just think of millions of truck drivers just shut down and not go. They are going to be mad, a lot like Canada. I covered that story like white on rice. I was jumping up and down about it, thought it was the most amazing thing ever. Stand up for freedom. That's just the way it is. You got to. If you don't get to have it anymore. Well, they're still suffering. They're still and I pray none of that happens. But you remember how they cut their accounts off? And all this is baby stuff compared to what's coming when we get to CBDC. They'll be able to pick that guy that was made the video that went viral. The algorithm will see his face, link it to his bank account, and cut him off in about 3 seconds. I have learned a lot about the algos recently, and I've been studying it for about 2 years. And that's how they do it. It's all linked to facial recognition. There's just me being on here right now. They know what I'm saying. They know what's behind me. They can read things in the background, and they can shut you off in a New York second. I've experienced firsthand. I lose subscribers every day. I've lost 128 this month. No, in the last 28 days. It was 500 last month. When you talk truth here, people don't really, the powers that be, that should not be, don't like it. So, that's why I keep mentioning Twitter. We're going to probably go over to the page so you can look at it, because Stacy puts stuff over there all the time. For now, that's the freest speech we have. Now, I'm 100% behind the boycott if we do it in the right way. The same thing with the truckers going down south and, standing up for the border. We are being invaded. I make videos about it all the time. Most of the time they get smashed down. Literally, YouTube reaches up and goes, "Woo." So I saw Johnny Bravo do that. It's like, that's exactly what they do. God hates differing scales, and that's exactly what they're doing. They'll weigh the algorithm. They put a little weight on it so it just doesn't show that. People on here have been unsubscribed. Please check your subscribe button. Hit the notification. I try to bring value in every video, and when you like it and subscribe, it's like giving me a tip. It's like it helps tremendously. So thank you for always doing that. Now we'll go over to some more breaking news. Uh-oh. Isn't that something? That is always something. It's amazing, isn't it? Okay, well, it's working. They're playing their tricks. What is it? Okay, all right, we got to go over here. Stacy gave me a heads up. How's this not working? Why is it wanting me to retry? That is just craziness, guys. I don't get it. Now nothing works. All right.
The truckers. If you're a trucker and you're going to participate in this, not going to ask your name, just call us up. If you're one of the truckers that are refusing now to drive to New York City after the $355 million fraud ruling on Donald Trump, a conservative social media influencer and trucker who goes by Chicago Ray posted a video clip in which he claims some of his colleagues are going to stop making deliveries to New York City to protest the ruling. I've been on the radio talking to drivers the past hour, and I've talked to about 10 drivers, and they're going to start refusing loads to New York City starting on Monday. So does that include any drivers that are listening to me now? Rob, you're a truck driver in Pennsylvania. Do you deliver much to New York City?
Well, I delivered about a month ago. I delivered 8 times to the 5 boroughs.
Okay. And are you going to continue to do it?
No, sir. I've already told my dispatch that they're under no circumstances will I be crossing that bridge again. I won't go into New York State, much less the city.
So what was dispatch's reaction to that? Do you get any heat?
No, I actually got another one. It seems like about between 20 and 25% of our drivers have refused to go into take any loads into New York State anymore.
Now, will that make a difference? 25%?
The thing is I work for a multinational company, huge company, and they will resort to using outside drivers and paying more.
Roger in Alabama. Hello, Roger.
Yeah. Hey, I drive into the city probably a couple of times a week, delivering fresh seafood from the Gulf, from Louisiana and Alabama, Mississippi, and for me to drive into New York City, it's a pain, but it pays well. But so I'm not going to do that anymore. And as far as being able to recoup the loss for I will be able to find loads going anywhere. Finding loads, I own my own truck and I own my own trailer, and I book my own freight. So finding loads is easy. What some of the other drivers might be talking about is the drivers that are coming around that have no experience, that are willing to drive into the city, who will have a terrible time. I mean, New York City, if a bunch of independent truck drivers start doing this, New York City will feel a pinch real quick, but it really won't hurt the trucking industry, at all, because there's such a demand for drivers.
Right.
Experienced drivers who are independent, own their own truck and own their own trailer and run their business well, they won't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if you don't
survive the fuel problem from a couple of years ago, we can survive this, and it will hurt New York City.
I have to tell you, if you don't know, if you've never driven in New York City, especially with an 18-wheeler, you're screwed. I mean, it is really tough to get around. I don't know how you guys do it in New York. I really don't.
Well, some of the new and experienced guys, they can't. That's just it. They cannot do it. They just can't. They're crashing into bridges and tearing up the neighborhood. They just can't do it. I've known some people that had 5 and 10 years experience that have trouble driving through the city. It's not easy, but it can be done. But it's not going to be done by me no more.
What is the feel on how many it will take to be able to affect New York?
I don't know of the number of how many it will take, but the length of time will surely take effect. Because even if they still get goods into New York City by some of the scab drivers, it's going to cost a lot of money, because they're going to feel the loss of because it's more than just groceries.
Yeah,
it's fuel,
everything.
Groceries. It's everything that's sold in a store.
I know.
Comes to New York City on a truck.
Let me go to Scott in Massachusetts. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes.
First time, long time.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm not going to New York City. It costs $100 and some odd bucks. I think it's $130 to cross the bridge. That I can look down through the potholes and see traffic on the layer below. And then you get in there, and the last time I made a delivery there, it was in Manhattan, and my truck takes up 6 parking spaces, and I haul construction material, so they're gonna take it up to the top of the building, right, for the roof, styrofoam insulation. So they told me, hey, park here on the side of the road in Manhattan. I had to double park. So the cops came along, gave me a ticket, $250 ticket for parking, $250 for blocking the bike lane. I'm like, what the heck? So the same thing happens in D.C. They'll actually, the FBI, I've dealt with the FBI and the police, and they say, just move up somewhere else. And it's no problem there. So, I don't need to go to New York. You'll get the scrubs and the dudes that haven't done it, haven't been working a long time in there. And let's be honest, that'll be even better.
Yeah, it will be.
Those guys can't turn and they can't back up. So you're going to have accidents. You're going to have traffic tied up. You got guys that can't back up and can't turn. This is their first car. Let them have them.
Yeah. Scott, thank you very much. Let me go to Jason. Jason, you're in Maine?
Yeah, so I'm on my way to New York as we speak. I got a load of lumber on that's going over to right off 84 over by Fishkill Hill. But I'm not. Ever since day one, since I started driving truck, I refused to go to New York City. It's a big pain, but I've been looking at this and I've been trying to figure out if there's any truth to it. So I'm glad I couldn't wait till this morning to listen to you to see, because a lot of times you'll hear things like this and you don't know how much truth to it is. But I'm a 100% Trump supporter, and I have no shame in admitting it. And I have no problem not bringing this truck. That's the blessing that maybe being an owner operator, I don't have to take any loads that I don't want to. But
Good
like
for
the
you.
other guy was saying, the other guys, sometimes they don't have an option. It's their job. So it will hopefully make an impact, and hopefully it will make a statement that, hey, we're not going to tolerate this, because something needs to be done, Glenn.
Hello, Jay.
Hey, how's it going, Glenn?
Good.
Yeah, I every Monday I get loaded here in the Columbus area, and I head to Manhattan, and that's not happening today. So,
really, and what did your bosses say?
It's funny because he's very liberal, but he pretty much everybody in his company is not.
Yeah.
And so he's like, and I told him, and he's like, and he kept justifying it's like, well, I mean, they are, they're doing the whole thing where, every vehicle crosses over, it gets taxed and everything and stuff like that. So it helps out in the long run. I'm thinking, okay, cool. Glad I have your permission, but I wasn't going to do it anyway.
So how many people around you or in your company are doing it?
There's 2 other drivers that go to not exactly Manhattan, but they go onto Long Island and stuff,
right.
And they're kind of hem high on it and stuff. So, I mean, we're not a big company,
right?
But it's I've been with this company for 10 years, so it is what it is, and I was like, that's fine. I have no problem.
We have Chris in Georgia, who you've been delivering goods to New York City for how long?
About 15 years.
15 years. Into the city or all of New York?
All of New York.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on it today?
I'll no longer be going to New York. We're non-force dispatch, so I can choose where I go, and I'm going to Georgia instead.
So are you hearing this from a lot of, because I've had one truck driver call in today and say, I was excited to listen to the show today because I wanted to hear if it was just me and just a handful of people, or if this is a big deal.
Well, I hadn't heard about the boycott until you mentioned it.
Really?
I personally, made that decision when I heard the announcement last week. But yeah, it's not right.
No, it's not right. It's not right. And this, I think, is the kind of thing that Martin Luther King would have done. This is a peaceful protest. It's all of the individuals choosing for themselves. I'm not going to support that kind of activity and not doing it. I commend you for it. I'm interested to see how this works out. I mean, this is a group of people that can make a huge difference. And we as a population, they know we don't ever do anything. The minute a state says, no, boys have to go to boys' bathrooms, girls go to girls' bathrooms, which is completely common sense, they go crazy. They boycott the state. It usually has no effect. Truckers, however, can do that. And it will make a difference because it's already hard to move goods. And if you're not, especially in Manhattan, there's only 10 roads in, 10. And you're a trucker, you have to go between, I think it's 11 p.m. or midnight to 5 a.m. And if you're a trucker and you've not driven in New York City, it's going to be a nightmare. But sending the message, hey, return to the rule of law. We don't hunt people. We don't find a person and then find the crime. If there's a crime, so be it. But we don't do it based on who you are.
All right, guys, that was Glenn Beck. I'm always watching and listening to people around me, and Glenn is one of them. He was on the woohoo bat flu, the coronavirus, like white on rice, and I was talking about it as well. And he and me got knocked down when we mentioned it. I made a video about it, and it was taken off, and I was off the YouTubes in 8 minutes. 8 minutes, gone. I didn't have the funds to hire lawyers like Glenn, but he didn't have any trouble after that. But I did. But hey, we're going to do everything we can to stay ahead of it. So guys, hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'm going to keep you posted on all the trucker stuff. I'm fixing to reach out to a few of my trucker friends and see what they know and what they're hearing on the CB and what is the word, because this could be a very, very big thing, and the powers that be are not going to like it. They are not going to like it. So if you're participating in this, I'm so happy for you. Take a few precautions. If you're a trucker standing up, not delivering goods, get some money out of the bank maybe. Take just what they showed their hand in Canada. Remember that. Please remember that, because that to me was, well, that's the end of free speech. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything else? Oh, today's President's Day. They encourage bad behavior, and this is what they're getting. They always incentivize the wrong thing. People do not, going back to the border. Guys, I know you've probably heard me say this. Last Monday, a week ago, 269 Chinese nationals came across the border. This adds to the 20,000 Chinese nationals in 5 months. What is going on? If you can't see what's going on, you really should open up your eyes. We are being invaded through the border. I post videos about it all the time, and I know the community's listening and they know what's going on, and there's no way around it. We have to. We're going to have to stand up, and it's going to be painful. And I'm not sure if now's the time, but there's never a good time. There's never a good time to, do that right thing that's going to be painful. But if we don't, and we get hung up in the CBDC, I pray that doesn't happen, but that's going to be the Hail Mary, I think. They're going to do everything they can. I'll make a prediction for you too, because I've been thinking through this for a while. They're going to do everything they can to keep Trump or anybody else. It doesn't have to be Trump. I'm not a humongous. I don't think Trump's the man on the white horse, okay? But he is a very good businessman, and he is by far the pick of all the candidates, in my opinion, so far. But here's what's going to happen, in my opinion, if Trump beats all the odds and pulls himself out of the swamp and is able to win the election. The central bankers, okay, the Fed chair, it should be raising interest rates. They just got a hotter than expected CPI report, right? Everybody knows that. It is not what it should have been. They were expecting less. It was more, but they're not going to raise interest rates. Okay, why are they doing that? Well, they're trying to frame it and paint it as Biden's economy is wonderful. Would you all agree with that? Do you agree? Please tell me if you don't. Now, when Trump gets in office, what do you think they're going to do? They are going to dump all of this mess that they have been cooking and stirring up over, well, it started when he was in office, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and we continued to make the wrong decisions through the bonehead Biden administration. And people say, well, Biden did this, and Biden didn't do anything. Biden doesn't know whether he's washing, drying, or hanging out. He doesn't have a clue. Nothing. He's gone. Who's pulling the strings? Who is paying $40,000 to $60,000 to get a Chinese national here? Why is that happening? It's fixing to get ugly. It's already starting to get ugly. I've never experienced anything like this. Have we ever seen this? Have we? I talk to every older person that I respect. Like my grandfather is 94 years old. My dad, and my grandfather and my mother were talking yesterday. I went down to see them. And I said, have you ever, because my grandfather lived through a lot of stuff, Great Depression also, he said, have you ever seen anything building up to this magnitude? He said, I pray for the rapture every day. Actually, twice. He said he does it once in the morning and once in the evening. He's never seen it like this. We're fixing to experience something that nobody alive has ever seen. It's going to it's going to be wild, and I want to be on the right side of it. And I know you guys do too. I'm proud of our truckers, and I thank God for them. It's really cool that they're standing up and doing the right thing. And we are making history. We are making history. And, I've heard this several times and I like to talk about it. We're writing our story. We are writing our story one chapter at a time. And when you stand up and do the right thing, it may be a new chapter. It might be the chapter that defines your life. As you go through life and you change, things change, and you have to change with them and adapt. And this opens a new chapter, and we're walking into a new chapter in all of our life, and we have an option to make this, whether it's not going to be an easy one, but we can do the right thing as we get into it. We can. I'm encouraging people to actively go visit their neighbors. Now you say, okay, what is that about? Just know them. Know what side they're on, because there is definitely sides. They have made sure of that. Everything. If I turn on that TV over there, it's black news. It's only black people, and they're only talking about the news they want to talk about, which is fine. The problem is, it is hard left. They make sure there's division. It's over and over. We're the most divided we've ever been, and they stir up race every time they can. Everything you watch, this trucker convoy will be these white supremacists, these hard right conspiracy theorists. What it is these people that aren't taking any more of your crap, but they are not going to like it. This is, and it's picking up steam. It is really starting to pick up steam, and just look for that. Look for the people that crave power and control. They've already got all the money. I told you this morning, there's an algorithm that comes on at 12 a.m. that does what the central bankers say for it to do throughout the day. Leaves behind a footprint. And I am studying it. I was studying it earlier. We're going to figure it out because I want to be able to trade with them. Talking about trading and being in the stock market. But if you know that, everything's tied to the stock market. That's why I want to try to figure it out. Your pension, all of it, your 401k, all that stuff is tied there. How does this relate to the trucker convoy? Well, money is the love of money is the root of all evil, and I think they're going to go for people's money. They're going to try to cut people's accounts off just like they did in Canada. So if you're participating and you're really putting yourself out there because you know it's the right thing, God bless you. Do the right thing. Do what God wants you to do. It doesn't matter if it's hard. You're taking action in the chapter that could define your life. Now, if this is a bad chapter in your life, and if it's a really bad chapter right now, I don't know you. all of you, and I don't know what you're going through, but just I want to leave you with this. If you're going through a really sad, bad chapter, please don't add to the saddest chapter of your life. You can switch. You know, you can start taking the steps in the right direction, and you don't have to. You can shut it off. You can shut that chapter off, and you can start a new chapter. And you can look back at that chapter and say, "That's where I came from. That's where I came from, and now this is where I am." So, guys, we're writing our story, and the truck drivers are writing their story, and I'm proud of them. And like I said, "Dear Truck Drivers" was the thumbnail, and that was because, dear truck drivers, please don't cut off the goods that people need, that have to live through what's coming. You know, medical supplies, maybe baby formula. I don't know. There's a lot of people that could miss a meal in New York. You know, the ones that living off the government. It wouldn't hurt them to miss a meal. I did have some. My brother-in-law, he's a Marine for 25 or 30 years, and he briefed me, and this wasn't part of the story, but you're here and you need to hear it. He briefed me on what the gangs in New York and on the border are getting ready to do, because they're in the loop. They're in the loop, and they're getting ready to do things and set up things to be in power when when it all goes awry, when these Chinese nationals are set in place. That's what they're doing. Have you seen the video of the Georgia senator going to the Atlanta airport? Have you seen that video? Anybody in here seen that video? This is wild. I wanted to put it on here, and I know for sure I'll be gone. It'll be my last video. There was a senator that went in Georgia that went to the Atlanta airport because he had heard there was a room in the airport that was full of illegals. And he thought, why would that be? So he had his phone, and you could tell he had it in his pocket, or he was carrying it. And he walked into the room, and there was a military officer. It looked like possibly a Marine. Not real sure, but he was dressed. You know, he was in uniform, standing at the door. Well, the man at the door, young hippie-looking kid, would not let them in. He was standing in front of the door, kind of, who are you? What do you want? So I just want to see what's going on. Well, as he was trying to kind of push his way in there, he said, "What are all these people doing here?" "Oh, they're just immigrants." He was trying to really kind of shove him off. He said, "Well, where are they going?" He said, "They're going where they need to be." Exactly where is that? Exactly where do they need to be? All over the place, the man said. They're shipping illegal migrants of all from everywhere, all over the U.S. to where they need to be. Now you put that with the gang members lining up to do whatever they do, and as we come to this, I would say, when the festering's almost over, when it's come to a head, how's that going to work out? Have your food, have your water. If you live in New York City, you need to have at least 3 days worth of food. Really, at least 2 weeks. And if you got 2 weeks, get 4. And if you got 4, get 2 months. And if you got 2 months, get 4 months, and so on and so forth. It's not hard. You're going to beat inflation. Okay, food's not going to get any cheaper. That should be. Don't even think like that. So get what you need. You don't have to be a weirdo prepper, doomsday prepper, but you do need to be able to stay in your house and stay put if everything's falling apart and there's no goods to get because the truckers aren't coming there. They hate it. I can't imagine driving a truck through New York City. So, guys, have an awesome awesome day. Hit the like button on the way out. I'll see you in the next one. Later.